You're welcome back, and today we're going to be looking at our nascent democracy. Comparatively, our democracy is still very young, and there are so many issues with it. And we will be looking at what's happening out there. You and I know that a whole lot's been happening, and we'll dissect it together. Democracy has been described as government of the people, by the people, for the people. And which is to say that even people in government hold power in trust. I mean, they hold power on behalf of the people. That's what democracy purports. Is that what we're actually getting? So many questions, so many interrogations we'll be having today on this show. And one beautiful thing for someone out there who's watching today, we'll be opening the phone lines quite early so you could participate. And so we can have your take on the issue. And so democracy has been defined as government of the people, by the people, for the people. So that means that it's our government. Every single member of the society has a stake in the government and the governance of the nation. And so we all have a part to play to ensure that things go right. We also are entitled to accountability from those who represent us. And then there are several things that make a system workable, the democratic system workable. And these include rights, basic freedoms. And so, I mean, in the light of so many things that's been going on in the polity, can we truly say that the enabling conditions for democracy are in place or are being nurtured? And so today, these are some of the things we'll be looking at. And I should have a guest in the course of time, but right now, we'll go together, and very shortly the phone lines will be open. Now, quickly. Now, democracy permits a whole range of freedoms, basic rights and freedoms, and of course responsibilities by the people. And among some of these rights and principles, rights and basic freedoms are the freedom even to life, freedom to free speech, and the right to assemble together, the right to associate together, and so on and so forth. In recent weeks, in recent days, a whole lot's been happening where you have situations where journalists are randomly invited by security forces without any prior intimation of exactly what the problem is, and sometimes from that invitation you find that people are held in detention and over prolonged periods of time. We've had situations where protesters are currently, if you ask me, being treated like terrorists, and so many other things that maybe lawyers will call travesty. So is this exactly what it should be? Now we'll go on a break quickly, and I'll be with you right back. Yeah. And so, like I was saying, we need to interrogate these issues, dear viewer, and we are saying if these basic freedoms are not guaranteed or are not nurtured, are not supported, can democracy truly thrive in our society? What exactly do we need to do to ensure that democracy does not become, how do you say it now, a mirage? What do we need to do to ensure that our democracy does not become a shadow of what it ought to be? What do we need to do to ensure that our democracy does not become what they call panda in the Yoruba language, which is like fake, like something short of the original, something short of perfect, something not even trying to attain perfection? Because we all know that the journey to perfection is a constant, continuous one. Yes, but I mean, there must be that journey. And so we need to interrogate, where are we? Are we really going forward democratically? Or are we stagnating? Or are we retrogressing on this journey? So these are some of the things that we need to look at. And very shortly, when my guest joins me, and together with you, dear viewer, we will be doing this together. And I go right away to ask that the phones be open so that we can do this together. Of course, you know that for some of you who are regular callers, the number is 080, it's on the screen right now, 299-38365. So let's do this together as soon as it's possible, because this is something that's crucial to all of us. So if you're out there and you can hear me, currently we do know that yesterday the Social Economic Rights and Advocacy Project or something, SERAP for short, their offices were under siege by men of the Directorate of Security Service, the DSS. The same yesterday, we also are aware that the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, was rearrested by the DSS, and in an ongoing investigation, and the workers put out an ultimatum that by midnight yesterday he has to be released, else there'll be some action from workers around the country. And luckily he was released within the period, and thereafter he was also, from reports, handed over to the NIA. So that's where we are, and in case you're out there, we'll expect that you'll be part of this, and so we can analyze these issues together. The president of the Nigerian Labour Congress was arrested at the airport on his way out, where he was supposed to attend a meeting somewhere in UK, and also the same day, SERAP offices were surrounded by men of the DSS, and we know that protesters are currently being investigated, currently being prosecuted for participating in a protest which was dubbed the End Governance Protest, End Bad Governance Protest. And we have a series of such other things. There have been journalists also who were invited on certain whatever security reasons, and then been behind bars for quite some time. And the world is asking, the people are asking, should this be so? Is this not a misuse of our democratic system? These are some of the issues we will be talking about, and if you're out there and you're interested in being part of this, we would like you to quickly make your call so we can do this together. Meanwhile, in a short while after this break, I guess that my guest should be ready to join in this conversation as I welcome the very first caller to this show today. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
So what's the name and where you're calling from?
My name is Do Good. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
I hope you have done good today.
Everything is went on our prayers because they say if you are around your enemies around you, you always be very vigilant.
Okay.
Nonetheless,
Okay, so
on the issue ahead,
yes.
I want to ask one question. Why is it that federal government will not do what they're supposed to do, the right to do, until people go on protest over the streets? Why is it so? When you know what you're supposed to do, you not do it until we march into the streets. First, they start knowing who to arrest, who is arrest. What is going on in this country? If this is done as supposed to be done, all this is going to happen, and we will have the resources to do it. Why are they waiting at the last minute after long notice, telling them, begging them, going through of meetings? They won't do it at the last minute. When people out on the street, they start arresting people. Those people were put on sale for going to protest. If I'm paying to go touch them to release them, because you don't release them, because it's going to follow, it's going to boil. I'm trying to say it. It's not, you don't follow any person. I won't even like it, but let them do the right thing at the right time, for God's sake.
All right.
Thank you, God bless you.
Do good. Thank you. I guess we'll take this break so we can allow our guests to join us, and so we can do this together.
In the beginning, God created a beautiful world.
3, 2, 1. Action.
And that's why at KAFTAN Television,
we imagine a beautiful world.
We are not just bragging.
we blaze the trail in broadcasting. And it is about you.
At KAFTAN TV, broadcasting is not just about information, education, and entertainment.
It's an aggregation of all you need to know in Nigeria
and around the world to create signal.
At KAFTAN Television, we have all it takes to be on top in broadcasting.
Our mission is simple: to project Africa in a truthful yet positive manner.
Wait, we're coming to you in style.
Here we are, starting from September.
Have a look at what the facts are.
And as you say on KAFTAN TV, imagine a beautiful world.
Vandalizing critical national infrastructure can have devastating impact on a country, undermining its economic stability and public safety. Such acts disrupt essential services like electricity, water supply, and transportation, leading to significant economic losses and inconvenience for citizens. The damage can delay development projects, increase repair costs, and strain public resources, diverting funds from other vital areas such as healthcare and education. Moreover, frequent vandalism can erode public trust in government institutions and security agencies, creating an atmosphere of fear and instability.
We go to that place on that Saturday with digger and shovel, then we dig that place and we call the Omoogun gate for that place.
It is to this effect that the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps recovered a range of stolen items, including armored cables, motorbikes, tools, and other equipment, with an estimated value of 5 million naira. The FCT NSCDC Commandant, Olushola Odumusu, while parading vandals, warned scavengers.
You're welcome back. And I also present to you my guest by name Olamilekan Adefolarin. He's a political economist. You're welcome.
Thanks for having me. Very good afternoon to all our viewers.
Thank you for being here. You'll recall, some of you who are our very regular viewers would recall that about a week or thereabouts ago, he was also here making contributions to nation building. And here he is again today. I was talking about, we're talking about democracy. Exactly. Just before you came, and I was saying that we have been told over and over again, in fact, it's become almost a standard for the definition of democracy, that it is a government by the people, of the people, by the people, for the people.
Exactly.
And which then means, it implies that whoever is in government actually holds power and trust for the people.
Exactly.
That also makes them accountable to the people. Yeah. So we wanted to say, how is our expectations of the democratic system being met, considering the fact that you're supposed to have certain basic freedoms that we enjoy as we operate a democracy, as contrary to if you had an authoritarian, a military regime, for example.
Exactly.
These are some of the things we're talking about. We've had some random arrests in recent times, some prosecution going on, and people are wondering what exactly is going on. And particularly in the absence of any virile opposition, so many meanings, so many connotations are being put to some of these issues, and that's why we're here. And so I'll be asking, do you think that our democracy, young as it is, but is it in the right, is it journeying in the right direction?
To start this discussion is for us to recall the Nigerian state. How was Nigerian state established? What are the foundational beckoning that build up, or pillars that build up Nigerian state? And we can but mention that it was formerly a colonial state before it became an independent state. Then became an authoritarian state under a military regime. Then came back to democracy. It went back to military regime again. Then went back to military regime until 1999. That now came into democracy system. And that democracy system that it came into, it made a choice of a system of democracy it wants to practice, which is capitalist democracy. But the character and the nature of the state has not changed since the colonial era. That brutal, that violent, that harassment, intimidating state character was still part and parcel of the democratic state that Nigeria has. So we cannot differentiate the Nigerian state of today from the period when it was under colonialism, with intimidation, with harassment of the locals, then to when it became a democratic state under a republic in 1963, the military coup, civil war, and became an authoritarian state under military. Those intimidating character and nature of that Nigerian state is still with the Nigerian state. So it's still what the ruling and governing elite, dominant coalition group members of the Nigerian state still carried along. Even though the representative election is taking place every 4 years, we have elected House of Reps, senators, governors, president, but the nature and character of the state is still with it. And that nature and character of the state is not just of Nigeria alone, across the globe. That is the character and nature of state. States are violent, are very, very brutal when it comes to opposition, when it comes to intimidation, when it comes to a force that want to reckon with the interests of the ruling and governing state. So the state will always react, either by arrest, by intimidation, by violence, by jailing, and all this nature, which is quite different from the tenant of democracy.
Are you saying that we have not really outgrown the Hobbesian state, where life was short, brutish, and nasty? Is that what you're saying?
It's definitely still available, but in a new form. Even the America that we call the beacon of democracy, they still practice all this violent nature of the state. Even though they may not practice it inside America, but they practice it outside.
Oh, okay.
That's why you see them intervening in different countries, everywhere, because that's the nature of a state. So the Nigerian state also carry that burden of that violent nature. And with what have happened in the last 6 weeks, it is just the state expressing
That's same instinct.
Because once he see opposition, once he see something that want to affect his ruling and governing class, he reacts.
Let's quickly take this. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Talk to us. What's your name?
From Cross River State.
What did you call your name?
Issue of GSS.
What did you call your name?
I am Alpha Monday from Cross River State.
Go ahead now, yeah?
Yes. Yeah, this issue of GSS have been coming too much. I don't even know what the federal government is trying to do. This country, Nigeria, I don't really know. I'm regretting why I should call myself a Nigerian.
Oh, really?
So, yes.
Okay,
I'm saying this from my mind.
Okay.
So, yeah, what I'm trying to say is, if the president is tired, let him resign.
What makes you think he's tired? That's not exactly what we're talking about right now. We're not talking about somebody being tired or somebody being energized. We're saying, is the democracy going in the right direction? Have we had some threats to the basic freedoms that are supposed to be enshrined in the Nigerian constitution in order to strengthen democracy? These are some of the issues we're talking about.
It's just that I don't even know. When I heard this matter, I became confused.
All right, okay. So maybe when you just continue to watch, and then I'm sure the confusion will wither. And thanks for calling. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So like we said, you said in the last 6 weeks, that nature has like bared its fangs.
Exactly. And it has to, because the ruling and governing class have seen a writing on the wall that doesn't show their interest is protected.
All right. So this is about interest of the haves and the have-nots. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, that is what is happening. Because we must, when I say the nature, and I also mention the character, we must also understand the actors within the Nigerian state. I think it was on this platform or a similar sister station this morning, I tried to explain some of these issue around the Nigerian state, which the caller could quickly listen to and understand. Now, what is happening? We have a democratically elected individuals who we call leaders. And you know, these leaders are choosing or elected to go and represent us and carry out certain activities, economic policy, and the rest of it, to ensure that we are better. But as we speak, the choice of the economic policy they are taking is not to the interest of the common and ordinary Nigerians. It's a neoliberal economic policy that is suffocating the economy in a way that it is the poor that is bearing the burden of the economy. So many people are sure not happy with it. And the Nigerian Labour Congress, being one of the pressure group in the system that's supposed to speak out, even though speaking out is majorly for the 10% of the population, because we also need to also understand that because the population of the members of the NLC, they are not up to 10% of our population, because these are the people that are paying the dues to them. And when they speak out, they speak in a form that they are speaking for the generality of Nigeria. But when the interest is meant, like the minimum wage that we just passed on, you can see that a number of Nigerians are not part of the minimum wage bracket. So a lot of them are out of it. But what they're supposed to fight for, which include the 7 demands they made on the government when the government said they're moving subsidy last September.
No. I think that Lekon, I think that will be going beyond their forte, their area of what they are registered to do. I mean, if it is called Nigeria Labour Congress, even though it's labor, it's organized labor. We know that. We understand that. So if it goes beyond that to want to begin to fight for every Ade and Hassan and Emeka, I mean, it might be ultra vires its core mandate.
But you know, the belief of Nigeria, like the one that called earlier, that was a little confused. If somebody like that could understand, Nigerian Labour Congress is fighting for us, their idea, their understanding is that it's fighting for the collective interest.
It doesn't have such powers. Exactly.
But what I pointed out, the 7 demand was one that
because one clear, sorry to cut you, one clear example of this is when the end bad governance protest was on. Shortly before then, Labour had just acceded to a 70,000 naira minimum wage. And so since that had been done, they were clearly not part of that other larger
group. But you know that it was 7 things they were requested,
which also still included the minimum wage, which they said 70 was not.
So
enough.
the rest 6 are out, and that rest 6, in my own understanding, it fall on the rest of Nigerians to benefit.
That's it.
Talk about the massive transportation, the CNG stuff. Talk about the refinery to work with timeline. Talk about the palliative. They said it should go around, not just a selective individual. Talk about government taking action against insecurity in terms of food production. So those are the things they demanded. But back to the main issue of the arrest and the rest of them. Now, the ruling class and the governing class have discovered, okay, whatever these guys are doing, it's like they are speaking up, they are criticizing them for whatever they are doing, which is very well. And they just have to act. And that's why you see that this arrest is coming. Although the latest development from NLC is that they were having the executive meeting and Ajero is with them. Then also DSS has also come out to say the SERAP that claimed that they overrun their offices was quite misleading, that it was only 2 officers they sent to their offices. That SERAP was just misleading. But we are waiting for SERAP to also respond again to that particular assertion.
Let's take this call, Olamilekan. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, please, what's your name and where you calling from?
I am Mr. Okoren Friday Aziabono from Ibrede, Nsokwa East Local Government, Delta State.
Delta State, all right. Let's hear your contribution.
Yeah. My only concern with this is that the situation of this Nigeria when we take. You know, with the orphanage them, we are not working anywhere. And with the help of people that we are surviving. And as I speak with you now, inflation of things are on the high side. And if we should benefit this on our leadership, for we to benefit it, you people have to make price of things come down so that we can enjoy the government. Apart from that, we are dying. So I want to hear better news from you people, because since when I have been calling you people, I have not been picking my call. Thanks.
But you have got it today. Congratulations. And so when you say thank you for calling, and so when he says you people, I mean that got me worried, because who are the you people?
Maybe what he's expecting for us, part of our suggestion, recommendation to the government, that please make food and basic necessity to be
but when he started in the beginning, he said you people should I'm not the you people at all. So but I think his message is well understood. Exactly. He may not have been able to really convey it properly, but I think that we can understand that the basic thing in that submission is that things are very difficult, and they are the point at which it's becoming unbearable.
Very well.
And so Lekon, let's get back now. In recent times, you have already touched on some of them. When the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress was arrested the first time about a week ago, and then about 2 weeks now, and then Ajero had to plead for time to show up, and then they eventually went there, and then he was released, and while investigation is still ongoing, the next thing that we heard was suddenly that DSS had arrested him, and fuller details showed that he was on his way out of the country at the time that he was arrested. And then the next thing also was that he was released a few minutes before midnight, which was the ultimatum that the workers group gave. I have also read a small headline. I wasn't able to go into the details, where they said the DSS has handed him over to the NIA, that's the intelligence agency, and so I've not been able to go beyond that, but that still says that the investigations are ongoing, and from this security point to this point and to this point, apparently based on the nature of whatever offense or whatever breach he has committed. Now, to the ordinary man, or to the ordinary worker whom Ajero represents, what do you think is the perception?
And the perception is the state is harassing Ajero.
It's harassing him,
the
right?
State is intimidating Ajero. The state is carrying out injustice against Ajero.
Against Ajero.
I said something earlier this morning on a sister, and I said, if the Nigerian state have, especially through their security paraphernalia, are discovered that certain individuals in the society are not doing something against the Nigerian state, they should publicly tell Nigerians, write publication about them, and let Nigerians know, instead of just creating chaos here and there. And one of the things that is leading to this Ajero saga is because of the tenants that they occupy their top floor in their building. And it has been established that this tenant was not actually Ajero was not the right person that even gave that tenant the floor that they occupy. Rather, it was during Ayuba Waba that this particular tenant took over that particular floor. And nobody have called Ayuba Waba to come and speak up on this particular tenant.
Yeah, but Ayuba, I mean, just based on this point that you have made, Ayuba Waba may have given tenancy to the man, but Ayuba Waba is no longer in office, and he may not be relating with him to the point, the same way that this new leadership is relating with him. So I mean, we've got to be a lot careful, because you definitely do not know what the security forces know.
Definitely.
But I think that one of the things that has been very funny about our security systems is that normally they hardly conclude their investigations before pouncing on people. That's where the challenge is. That's where distrust comes in.
Exactly.
That's where people begin to think, oh, this person is just being intimidated, and all. I mean, if you conclude your investigation as discreetly as possible, and then lay your hands on the person, and then that's when what you just advocated can be done. This is what this person is being arrested and detained for. Number 1, number 2, number 7, number 15, and so. But for this reason, we're going to have to put him out of circulation so that he can answer to these issues.
You know the reason why sometimes when they do that, it becomes like, to the ordinary people, it's like a witch hunt.
Exactly.
To the workers now, to the ordinary Nigerians, like the man that called, it's like they are witch hunting this person. Even though if the government have concrete evidence that, okay, these persons have been doing these certain activities against the Nigerian nation. In development climate, it is a new model in curtailing insecurity in development climate. They quickly make a public declaration on a particular individual.
So this is
what this person is doing, so that before government will take action and be going and pick that person. Because in our own climate, the moment you pick somebody, they say, it's because it's an opposition party. It's because of Labour. Meanwhile, the government have not given concrete information about the activities of that person in the last whatever years. And the reason why I made mention of maybe the tenure of Ayuba Waba was one that gave that tenancy the opportunity to occupy that place, was like, this person in question have been in Nigeria for 25 years. He has shown solidarity to Nigerian Labour Congress, to all the president of NLC, successive president year in, year out. Maybe because his activities in the hunger strike protest was now, maybe they put 1 + 1 + 2 + 2. Then that's okay, since he's now the Nigerian Labour Congress building. Let us now, because Ajero is the current president, let us also touch light on Ajero. Meanwhile, for a district investigation to be done, you're supposed to go back to the period where this man has been in that place and see
check
what he has been doing over the years.
Right. Let's quickly take this. Oh no, I guess we lost that. Yeah, we lost him. And so now that's Ajero. But when looked at in combination, in conjunction with other incidents of arrests, other incidents of protesters being, detained and all that, the signals being sent, how do you view it? But that will be after we take this call. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
My name is Omoogun Romi, Kaduna State.
All right. All right. Go ahead, please.
Now we attend on our leaders. Our leaders are not politicians. They are dictators. And even as politicians, they cannot treat us like that. Look at how we do policy. I thought politics is for people and it's people for the people. But now our position are dictators. How they are handling us. Told this one, not the reality. They are not, if they would talk, I don't know how we talk about politics in this country, in Africa. all African leaders are dictators. They don't treat the grassroots well. They treat your grassroots like beggars. Like we are now visitors. We are like one of our countries. We are now visitors in the country. You know me? See how you stayed now I stayed more than 5 days in my house. I didn't cook. How much in those days? I work with I'm a civilian. I work at the time of army. They are not like that. Now some people they are using their money to buy what they want. And how can you treat? They tell you what they want to do for you. Is that not true? If they will come and give you Maggi and give you salt, you vote for them. And then say, how do you do it? And you will never see them again.
Yeah, so that speaks to the people, the voters themselves also, right?
Yes.
So the voter also has a role to play.
Now the voter, like the last time they said, let me give account number. I said, let my conscience judge me. I will never collect account number. I will never collect account number. The day of judgment is coming. I hope one day when we die, they will take us with all our way to the grave.
All right, thank you. Have a great day, the rest of the day.
One day we go to the grave with the money.
Yeah, thank you. Now, so that's a Nigerian saying for 5 days he has not cooked anything in his house. How that is possible, how he has survived is something
really God that knows.
Exactly.
And it's happening across many households.
Exactly. So I'm one person who finds it difficult to play with people's pain. You can't just discountenance what he has said. He knows what he is going through, and that might be representative of millions of Nigerians.
Exactly.
And so that also should put some urgency on the powers that be to find something to do to ameliorate the situation. Let's take this one, and then after that you should. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Mazu Prafo from Arochukwu.
Arochukwu, Anambra State, right?
No, Abia State.
All right then. I needed to know. Yeah, go ahead, please.
See, when we talk about human rights, there is something about politics in the whole world. If you know you want to do anything politics, you have to have what we call spirit of sportsmanship. That's number one. Number two, you have to create a room for what we call criticism. Because if you enter, even in your ordinary office you are, no matter wherever you find yourself, if you don't have that shock observer to absorb critics with their issues, you cannot survive any nation. So that is why politics in Nigeria, we hate criticism. We don't have that shock observer. That is why you see every day we continue talking about human. But you appreciate that is why you should tell people now, before you join politics, go and read the basic theory of politics, which is civic education. Not a question of going to do politics or do tobacco. When you read basic education, that's civic education, you now go to the constitution and digest it very well. When you digest it very well, you cannot enter politics. But if you didn't do it, forget it, because critics, criticism must expel. Good afternoon, Mazio Kafo.
Thank you, Mazio Kafo. Now, so he's trying to underline the very importance of dissent, of contrary opinion, and insisting that leaders who put themselves out for election, for office, must have that ability to
absorb all those but the issue with criticism from politicians of the political class is that they wipe up sentiment. If you see a constructive criticism, you know that this person is talking about what government need to do to change the policy. Under 1 year of Tinubu government, I have not seen any constructive criticism from any politicians in Nigeria. It is only we analysts that are giving suggestions, criticizing the government in a more constructive way. Majority of them criticize the government on the basis of sentiment, to wipe up sentiment for the next election. So you don't really get the ingredient of their criticism out of it, because majority of them also were part and parcel of this government system of Nigeria since 1999. So whatever they want to offer, whatever they want to say, they're only referring the problem back to themselves. especially those that joined the fray since 1999. I don't know whether you...
I know, I don't quite get that, because if you say...
Okay, let me give you one typical example.
Yeah, please.
The former Vice President Atiku have been talking about the FX regime of Nigeria.
Yeah.
When did the FX, who bastardized the FX regime of Nigeria? Who started fixing Naira rate to dollar rate?
No, you see, I mean, I don't think that we can criticism just within the elite space, because it is not representative.
That's why I've been mentioning of politicians criticizing, because majority of the criticism that normally see the front page of newspaper comes from the politicians.
Okay.
But the one that are more cogent, very genuine, that are solution driven, you don't see it on pages of newspaper.
Whose fault will that be? It's not the fault of the downtrodden or the average man in Calabari or somewhere in
like the man that called Farmer Chuku, because exactly. if you have Maaz Okorafa is one of the leading caller on Radio Nigeria,
exactly.
Most of about him.
I think I hear
and when he makes suggestion that is solution driven. Yeah. But guess what? When a politician wants to talk about the same problem that he has highlighted, he will just say it in a way that will wipe off sentiment. And that's why I couldn't make mention when we are talking about FX regime change in Nigeria. The bastardization started since 1991.
Even if you say that, Lekon, I would say, for example, if somebody creates an error, makes an error, and he realizes that this is an error, and unfortunately he's no longer in a place to sort out the error, is it wrong to point out that, look, this thing, of course, human beings, he would not necessarily want to put himself on the spot.
On the spot.
Exactly, but he will just say, look, this thing is wrong. It's, of course, the other party will also say, but you started it. But that's not going to get us anywhere. We won't get any solution.
Definitely,
out of
because the foundation of this particular economic problem is already wrong.
I agree.
So whatever the solution they are laying on,
but if we keep lamenting only, and if we keep dodging the issues, are we going to get to where we're going?
We won't get there. But okay, let's take this call.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon. What's your name?
My name is Prince Jerry.
You're calling from where?
I'm calling from Imo State.
Go ahead, let's have your take.
I want to correct one impression with your man over there.
All right.
That somebody made a mistake when he was in power does not mean that he cannot contribute to the issue on ground.
Apparently, I already said that on your behalf, as if I knew that's what you want to say. Maybe you should make another quick point, yeah?
Okay. There's no other thing I want. I just want to...
Okay, that's one. Right. Right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for many Nigerians, if they understand the problem of Nigeria, they will understand why when people like Atiku and the rest of them, they were part and parcel of the government, try as much as possible to pinpoint a particular issue out of a solution or out of criticism. And we have economists like we have reason for saying, you know, when I started this, I said the neoliberal policy that we are implementing since 1999 is what is taking us to the level. Ask yourself this question: how come under their regime they refused to put the refinery to work? Rather, they wanted to sell it. And it was this same man that we want to softly defend was putting the refinery for sale under BP, Bureau of Public Enterprise. So, in as much as some of us understand, particularly critical economists, we understand that majority of the politicians who come out to criticize government only bring that criticism as a whipping sentiment for next election so that they can be more popular. But the issue is that even when they criticize, they don't have solutions to it. The solution they have is the same solution their current colleagues are implementing.
Yeah, see, Lekon, while I must quickly say that this seat does not defend any party
at all.
This seat does not defend any party, but we must seek to bring balance. We must seek to bring fairness. We must ensure that facts are sacred. Opinions can differ. So that's what I am here to do, and that's what any occupant of this seat must do. So it's not a question of defending subtly article or whatever. The point remains that if we have found, if I have made some errors and you take over, for example, if I host this show and you take over and find out that I have done certain things that did not allow the show to really grow or to really attract the kind of traffic that is desirable, it will be double jeopardy, multiple jeopardy for you to also continue in the same line. Has it not been said by a wise man that doing the same thing
in the same way?
Is insanity. It's
the reason why they continue that because they don't have alternative solutions to it.
So very good. In another point that needs to be made is that your competitor most times is not going to give you a leeway to so you cannot expect somebody who wants to occupy your seat to come and give you a solution. Once the solution is given and you implement it, what will be the necessity?
But the issues are not from this set of people. But the reason why I'm making this emphasis is because so that we know when the other caller was talking about, you now made mention of the voters. The problem is not the voters who voted individuals into position of authority. Maybe we'll take this call.
Let's take this one, please. Yeah, hello.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay, I'm calling from Cross River under Omoogun.
Yeah, go ahead. Your name?
Okay, my name is
Sunday Mbang. You're welcome to the show. Let's have your take quickly.
Okay. What I'm about to say is that it's about the economy. The way things are going now. I mean, if you want to ask, it's a sin for us to become in Cross River. If you know that, if the president knows that he cannot handle the thing, then they should divide the country, the Nigeria, the country.
No, that's not what we came to discuss. So the points, Lekon, that I think we need to make is this: what is being done today, does it help democracy
at all? It doesn't.
Good. So I think that's the trajectory that we need to follow. If you put half of the nation in gulags around the country, how does it help us? Does it help the regime? Does it help the cause of democracy? And then especially when it looks as though people for not very genuine reasons are being cast into these detention centers. Is that healthy for democracy?
It is not healthy at all. I've established the foundation why this is happening. The nature, the character of the Nigerian state since the colonial era is still what is still exhibiting. And I also established that the ruling and governing class have a way of exhibiting their interest. The moment their interest is being backlash as a result of criticism, they went wide against their critics, against opposition voices who they believe want to bring them down. For instance, the accusation and allegation against the Ajero-led NLC management is that the occupant or the tenant that he hosted is one of the people planning coup to upturn the government of the day. So who else would the government be going after? The landlord. And we have said it on this platform that these are not what the government is supposed to be chasing. The protests have shown the reason why people went to the streets. Even though at a time the protest was also hijacked by people who went to people's shop and looting. But the issue still remains that it is because of hunger. And the hunger comes as a result of policy of the government. And the policy of the government has to do with the economy. And the economy has been bastardized since 1999 as a result of what? Neoliberal policy that we took. Unless we reverse and rework those policies and think critically, strategically, that it is rather we follow homegrown market economy system rather than following some policy that comes from somewhere because we are borrowing money from them or because we want some interest to be protected. And the interest we are protecting is the interest of the ruling class, the governing class. And these same people are the ones coming to criticize government because they know election is coming in the next 3 years. So when these people come to criticize, they're only criticizing and without finding solution because at the end of the day, they just want power. And that's why it has been established.
I have a challenge with forms. When after this call. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, good afternoon. You need to cut down the volume of your set.
Yeah, can you hear me?
It's better now, yeah?
Okay. Now, the reason is...
You didn't tell us your name or where you're calling from.
Sorry. My name is Bob Zil. I'm calling from Cross River State, Boki precisely.
Cross River State is really
taking the lead.
It's really happening today. Go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, the problem Nigerians are having is actually coming from the Nigerians. What I say is that
what happened to you? All right. I guess the network is.
Can you hear me?
Oh, so what happened? You said you need to go back and do this in 30 seconds, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but you would need to start all over again because a whole portion of it was cut off.
Okay. What time is that? Hello?
Mr. Is it Obubra? Somebody. See, we don't have this time. Will you want to call back?
I'm hearing you.
We weren't hearing you, and when you were told to go ahead, I don't quite understand what's happening.
Okay, what I'm saying is that the problem that Nigerians are having are actually coming from the Nigerians, because we Nigerians, we appeal to the elite politicians that we are hungry, and in election, the elite come to us with some mini gift to buy their interest. Now, when you have money that these politicians spend to assume that position, to assume the presidential seat, the senator seat, you know, at the tail end, they will want return on investment, because they believe that all the billions of naira that are put in election, they are sitting there. Their interest is to regain back all the funds and the profit that they make. If the election system in Nigeria will come back whereby politicians are not allowed to spend any penny, you go there by duly elected by the citizens. If it happens that they are not performing very well, the citizens will have the full right to live like that and either remove you or give you conditions. But since our political system is democracy,
you need to begin to round up now. Yeah.
Yeah, whereby everybody behaves the way he or she likes. The citizens are misbehaving, the allied group are misbehaving. So when all of us had to put our hands in deck, then I believe by then Nigeria will be thinking to be a little bit better. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Now, good point that he has made. Exactly. But you see, these issues are so, they have all kinds of sides to them. Because while I agree with him that voters are part of the problem, because when you accept a pittance in order to just meet your current need without thinking strategically, then you are the one who has enabled the misgovernance. Exactly. But the truth again is, when you look at it on the other hand, if somebody like the person who called a while ago and said he has not cooked for 5 days, now if he suddenly finds a helper that as at that time his thinking will say God has sent a Messiah, to him, and says this is 10,000 naira, at least you can cook, and I have somebody that I want you to vote for a council elections that is coming up around you very shortly. You think the man will think twice? He won't think twice. That's the situation is complicated.
Exactly. And it is complicated because of the policy that is coming up.
Exactly.
Before 2027, a lot of people will be begging for that 10,000 naira.
That's it.
And the reason why it will happen, because the politicians, the ruling class, the governing class have understood the psyche, the political behavior of every Nigerian, that they weaponize it. They are weaponizing poverty. So they weaponize poverty before that time. So before that time, people are 10,000 naira is like 1 million naira in the hand of a poor man, of a vulnerable individual. So when they give 10,000 naira for you to go and vote for a particular person, definitely you want to vote for that person. And because you also believe that maybe another 10,000 will come after voting. And the reason why I pinpoint that the voters are not the problem. The problem because, one, the voters doesn't have alternative. Any alternative that want to springle up against the ruling class, they don't give that person the opportunity. We have had the opportunity of people who are genuine with patriotic zeal to come and change things, not because of the luxury life they are going to live. Even when they enter government, they are going to change so many things in the government system, because one of the things that is making people to be rushing to go and contest for election because of the monetization system.
Yes, at the peck
of office. Yeah. So when we have people who are genuine enough, I think one of the things that such person will say is that the moment we get into government as a president we are going to slash our salary to 1 kobo.
Now, do you also know that if any politician makes that pronouncement, he's not likely to win?
He won't get it because
that's the rest of the elites will gang up against him, will frustrate him, will ensure that he does not get that.
Exactly. The ruling class or the governing class or the established status quo I would normally call it in political economy, the established status quo will ensure that it doesn't even get.
That's the point.
Even if you establish your own political party, they will scuttle it. You know the reason why independent candidates did not see the sale of light in National Assembly? Because they discovered that genuine Nigerians who will campaign on independent candidate platform will get the vote of Nigerians. Genuine Nigerians who have the understanding of how the economy will work, how the political will work, how everything will work. They know that they will go to the independent candidacy platform and they will get the vote of Nigeria. But because of that, they say no, nothing like independent candidate. Then there was also a suggestion that the electoral act should be amended in the way that political party will not just have national outlook. A political party can just a regional outlook, a local outlook to cater for the need of people. What do they say? They say no, we cannot have such. A political party must have a national outlook. That's why we have 17 political parties in Nigeria. Even though people have started submitting letters to INEC to register their political party. So the established status quo does not want things to change. And when we see people from that same gang of established status quo trying to say this, we know that they still mean the same thing as the current one. So what we are looking out for is that genuine people who have the genuine Nigerian interest at heart. And when those people are available, but the fear is that they have the money to even do the election. But the fear is that even if they contest, the established status quo will not allow them to go anywhere.
All right, Lekon, after this break, we'll make way forward.
Exactly.
In the beginning, God created a beautiful world.
3, 2, 1. Action.
And that's why, at KAFTAN Television,
we imagine a beautiful world.
We are not just bragging.
we blaze the trail in broadcasting. And it is about you.
At KAFTAN TV, broadcasting is not just about information, education, and entertainment.
It's an aggregation of all you need to know in Nigeria
and around the world to create signal.
At KAFTAN Television, we have all it takes to be on top in broadcasting.
Our mission is simple: to project Africa in a truthful yet positive manner.
You're welcome back. We're still here at KAFTAN TV on the program The Polity this Tuesday afternoon. And my name is Dayo Omoogun. My guest with me here is Adefolarin. He prefers Olamilekan. He prefers the full thing. Olamilekan Adefolarin. So you're welcome once again.
Thanks for having me.
And let's proceed this way. Now, because again, we're already on the home run, as it were, considering the time. What would you be advising those in authority to do at a time like this? Because you see, for many analysts, it's too early in the day to have this kind of situation where people are being
sent to prison
on very, well, I have to be quite careful on on issues that are somewhat not quite clear.
Exactly.
So what would you be saying if you had the ears of the president, for example?
First and foremost is for the president to take a clue at the situation of the economy. Hunger, angry, and anger, as I will put it, is what is the wave that is in Nigeria. People are hungry, people are angry, and that was push people to go to the street. You should look at that. And what is causing that hunger? It's economic policy.
Are you one of the economists, for example, who agree or who believe that the president should make the reverse the fuel subsidy removal?
It's not about reversing fuel subsidy. It's about taking hold of the strategic commanding height of Nigerian economy, which is what crude oil refining into PMS by the Nigerian state,
which goes to fixing the refineries and refining locally
and supporting local refineries to work. It's not. Do you know that if they reverse it, they are going for importation. When they go for importation, what happened to the FX?
Again,
we have to link the issue. We have to link all the challenges together so that we can have a balanced solution, just like we mentioned earlier. So, for me, the president, we want him to succeed. We will all be happy if the president succeeds.
Of course, because we succeed.
Exactly, because food will be cheap,
better for everyone.
There will be fair, affordable transportation. There will be affordable housing and the rest of them. But when his policy go wide, it affects everybody.
Yeah,
you get it. It was because of poor mass transport system in Abuja that I have to come to this place soak, if I'm correct, by the rain. I have to stand under the bridge so that the rain can stop. So let them know that your guest today was soaked by the rain.
So I hope you're not one of the protesters. We have to be careful.
I'm not protesting. What I'm trying to point out, if there have been a proper mass transportation system in Abuja that the government promised as a result of fuel subsidy removal, things like that, a lot of people were hanging under the bridge because of the rain.
Now, they have been this just a little digression though. There has been this excuse that government needs more time, that 1 year is too early to assess government and be this angry about it. You talked about anger.
Exactly. There is no time for no time. If you understand what I mean, there is no time that will be appropriate for, as a policy analyst, there is no time that will be much appropriate for any policy, for anybody to say it is early to criticize or they are late to. No. Every minute, every second that is going is very, very important for the government to take action. I mean, empirical action that could affect the people positively. So whoever that is saying that, I've already addressed that in one of our sisters. I said, no. If you want to, from the day one of May 29, that was when the criticism started. And you should start like that. Because it will be better they tell you, Mr. President, this thing that you are taking is very wrong. And one of those people that came out and said, through my organization, said, the government want to do mechanized agriculture. And he has not put plow on ground, but he's planning to buy over 1,000 tractors. 4,000 tractor head, 5,000, a lot of things have been put in place. But up to now, that mechanized farming, nobody knows where the farm is. And we have an agency called National Agricultural Land Development Agencies that have been planting food across Nigeria since 2015. And nobody could see the food they are planting or the food they have harvested. And the same government still want to go into mechanized farming. And these are things that we have discovered that could be a waste of government resources. Even though we say government should go into food production.
Because now, does that not controvert? Is it not running contrary to your position that government should take up the commanding heights of the economy?
Taking commanding height of the economy doesn't mean we should be having it on paper.
Okay, that's what you mean.
That's what I'm trying to. We are just saying it on paper. We're going to do mechanized agriculture.
There's nothing
on ground to show. You get it? Yeah. Rather, what did they went for? They went and said that they want food to be imported, which is contradictory to our forex regime that they also established. Because the people that are going to import those food are going to be looking for dollar.
But that's just a short-term interim measure.
See, those the thing is that as an economist, those short-term measures are more dangerous than long-term measures. Short-term measure is looking for quick fix. So you'll be able to bring everything out before you know it. Damage control. You'll be looking for damage control. As we speak right now, all the people importing food now, they'll be waiting for CBN to give them dollar. Before you know, they'll put pressure on CBN. That we have today is building our reserve. It's over $36 billion that we're able to save in the last 1 year of President Tinubu. They are building it, and their target is about $60 billion before the end of the year. So, and that I will assure investors coming to the country to know that we have more money in our foreign reserve than the one we are just giving subsidy on dollar.
Now, let's get right back. So, talking about human rights abuses, now, is terrorism? You're not a lawyer, but even from whatever little understanding that you have, is terrorism the same thing as, is protest the same thing as terrorism?
I thought they are far, far different.
So, but it looks as though they are being treated the same way right now.
What brought this terrorism issue into the protest or people were arrested was because of the foreigner who was involved.
And maybe because of the flags that were
and also the flags that was also involved. And again, the recall of the police that this same person was active in Sudan and Somalia.
This same person?
Yes, the Briton. That was what the police said. That was active in Sudan and Somalia till those countries become a no-go area. You get it? So those are the, and before you know it, and I said something. I said the state, any state, either in United States of America or England, the moment they take on that veil of their character, they can pen on anybody anything they want to pen, because as far as that person is against their interest. So if they say the protesters are trying to push for a coup or upturn the government, they're only pushing that out so that many of us citizens can buy into it and also be able to support them. But we know that the real cause of the protest is about hunger.
Very good. Don't you think that this current reaction of the government is also a subtle way of instilling fear in the citizenry, so that when you have seen examples of people who have been silenced, it tells you that
it's not a good area for all you people that are exactly. You have to suspect that everybody begin to talk to your children, hold this here and say, don't go there. I think that's what the government is doing. And it's very peculiar. Government across the world does that. They intimidate opposition, they try to harass them, they push them here. Didn't you see what they seen to Trump before he now came out strong and want to contest for president? The what do they call them? CIA, FBI, they all push him here, bringing document. Trump have been jumping, bail jumping. There was even accused of rape. That's how the state behave. The state will always coerce you into a position that you look like a goat that has been pushed to the wall. If you like, fight, but if you like, don't fight. But all the things, they will push you to that wall, and that's what the state is doing. And the state will always do that. That is the character of the state, not just Nigeria.
But Nigeria has a history of resilience.
Definitely,
because even under the military, Nigerians showed themselves tough, and I do not think that adopting this kind of strategy is advisable in the long run.
Exactly. It don't even get to that level of that military, because this one they have limit. The court is there, even though the court is part and parcel of the Nigerian state, as a component of the Nigerian state, which they can also dictate to. But the court sometimes can be very, very, they can dictate to. The state dictate. I've told you that the foundation of the state is built on two groups, the ruling and the governing. The other are built on it. The police, the court, the correctional service are built on the state. So they can dictate to who appoint the judges.
Or in the first
who also appoint give someone lawyer.
So that's the point, that even the courts have a limit, because we have had situations where judgments are passed and they are ignored.
They are ignored because
for several years.
Because the state felt that what is this guy saying? Maybe is the court, is the judge right, or is that correct? Because we are talking about national security.
Exactly. The truth is that government can always, the state, like you said, can always improvise if you want. Can always put out a picture, a picture of national security, and begin to promote it so much to say, look, national security is more important than any individual whatever. But we do know that many times the excesses are setting.
Definitely, it's the excesses that now we are all against. But on the other hand, it's also like a chastisement to people in position of leadership, that even though people will always fight for you, that the state should not suppress you, but that doesn't also give you the opportunity to also use your position to wrong the state and wrong the country as a whole. Because we also have to put that out.
That's correct.
Because you can say, okay, it could be Ajero today, and people are saying, Ajero should be really issue. It could be somebody more dangerous than Ajero, but it's occupying a particular position. It has happened across the world, and they will see that person is occupying. You don't want to. But what that person is doing underground against the state.
That's why the security people really need to do their homework.
Exactly.
Because even the Ajero, we don't quite have all the information.
Exactly.
It's possible that something fishy has really truly been going on. But the way he's been handled
is what
is the problem. Like we said before, even some few minutes back, you could do your investigation and make sure as discreetly as possible. So the moment you are holding him. You have so much that even the people will say, really, this person, okay, let's get him prosecuted. And
exactly. I love what.
I think that's the way to go.
I love what FBI did against Trump. Before they begin to throw him here and there, they made a particular statement that Mr. Trump has been evading tax. That's the kind of and when America go to the state, nobody knows where the money goes to.
That's another thing that really needs to
be addressed.
So
he must look at how he can address the issue of fuel price in Nigeria. And the only way to solve that problem is not by importation, it's not by relying on Dangote, it's by the state refining and selling to Nigerians through his own refineries. That is the number one thing I will tell him if I have the opportunity to.
That's why I keep saying that this country is really a very interesting specimen, if you like. I do not think it's about the kind of strategy. At all times I make this point that I do not think it's actually about the policy. It's about us, the people, the Nigerians, and the zest or lack of it, the honesty or lack of it, the integrity or lack of it that we bring to bear in delivering those policies. For example, before Nigeria privatized under the BP that you referred to a while ago, we had most of these concerns being run by the government. And then they were not also being run perfectly, which gave room for people from those other Western powers to breathe upon us and say, look, you must change and privatize everything. And then we have privatized again, and the problem has not really gone away. So as far as I'm concerned, I think that the problem rests with the people, rests with the Nigerian people. If they decide that they will deal with any issue, when you talk about homegrown policies, when you bring up a homegrown policy that is not delivered with integrity, we will still get to those kind of problematic points. Let's take this guy. He might just be the last person. Hello.
Mr. Dayo, good day, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm Oteo Joseph, calling from Cross River State.
All right, go ahead.
I appreciate your effort towards helping this country, sir.
Go on quickly. There's no time.
I want to contribute by saying that one of the issues Nigerians leaders should know is that leadership is all about service and not a place of personal settlement. That issue Nigerian leaders should know. Secondly, Nigerian leaders is not good at following up whatever is sent from the national to the grassroots people. Because to an extent, sometimes the leadership try in handling out some issues. But when that is done, the Nigerian leadership fails to monitor whatever is sent down to the people.
If you have seen that as a problem, why don't you at the subnational level also hold those people at the helm of affairs at the subnational, at the state level, at the local government area? Why don't you hold them accountable too, if that is a problem? Don't you think that that's a way to go?
Pardon, sir.
Now, you have identified that the federal government sometimes does so much, maybe has sent some palliative packages to states for onward distribution at the grassroots level, right? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Good. Now, if that has been established and you feel that the monitoring by federal government is deficient, I'm saying, as people, as citizens of this country, shouldn't we also take it upon ourselves to hold those states, those subnational governments, to hold them accountable and say, look, we do know that such and such and such a thing has been given to you for the benefit of all of us, and you have either mismanaged it or squandered it, or you are hoarding it, and we can't accept that. Shouldn't that also be a way to go, rather than just waiting for the federal government to do its monitoring?
It should be, but we all know the situation in this country, that getting to the national, some protocols have to be followed, and issues that are not to the interest of the people in charge might not really be forwarded to where it would have brought out solutions.
Well, okay. We will have to let you go, but your point is made. But I also think that you didn't quite get my point, because I wasn't asking you to now go to the federal government. Since you have identified the problem as a local problem, then go to that local level and deal with it as citizens. And there are several ways to deal with these issues. So thank you for your call, and we will need to make progress. Thank you. So, Leko,
very interesting submission.
I guess we will have to just give your last line, maybe in 1 minute, max 2 minutes, and, so that we can draw the curtains on this program today. Yeah,
I think the message from this platform, particularly for me, is to the president, is to the handlers of the Nigerian state, the governors, the ministers, everybody. They should look back. Nigerians are hungry. Their policy is what have pushed many Nigerians to this hungry state.
And so, you're saying they should not add insult. How did you say insult to injury? By now hounding them and putting them in detention?
Definitely, because the people who are calling for protests are only agitating for the right policy or right thing to be done. That's on one hand. Then the other thing is that government must look practically and proactively on the policy that is pushing out, because it is the policy that is, I will keep mentioning the policy. The actions is implementation. You made mention of the people. The bureaucratic nature of the Nigerian state is also a problem.
That's what
and that bureaucratic nature, the bureaucratic nature want to take a life of its own, just the way the ruling class have been able to live through primitive accumulation. And that primitive accumulation is what these are last scholars talking about: corruption in the value chain of distribution of resources. So if you don't tackle it, as you rightly pointed out, it will continue.
It will.
So the president must tackle economic challenges and tackle the corruption within economic challenges, which is leading to the problem Nigerians are facing.
Rather than this
following, leave Ajero, leave the protesters, leave them. Focus on the economic issues. Let hunger subside. Let Nigerians see affordable and accessible food to eat. It will go a long way.
Right, we will have to bring the show to a close in another minute or thereabouts. Lekon, it's been wonderful having you through whatever. rain was unable to stop you
at all.
We appreciate that. Exactly. And we say thank you to our viewers who, especially those who made the calls, because it's supposed to be an interactive program, and you made it interactive. You made it engaging, and we really thank you for that. And from around the country, and particularly Cross River State was in some kind of
they are leading
today.
Exactly.
I mean, up to like 5 callers coming from Cross River State. Thank you, Mazi Okafor. Thank you for the person from Gombe, and so on and so forth. Thank you so very much. And tomorrow is another day, but I'll be here by the grace of God on Thursday, and I look forward to having you at the other end again when I do come round. Thank you very much. And for the production team, my thanks are huge. Thank you so very much. And the executive producer, the producer, thank you for breathing life into this program. Thank you so very much. And dear President of the Federal Republic, you just heard my guest, you heard your people. Where are your people? You are the father of the nation. I hope that this gets to you or gets to you through your aides. Please, your people are saying, Nahonga na ide kosamo. And on this note, I think we can get out of here. Thank you very much.